Call this MUB meeting to order. We will consider the consent calendars 1 and 2. Approval of the agenda in a minute.
I guess I'll move to do that. I just had a question on the minutes. Not a question, just a.
Okay.
And in the financial report, we've got over $3 million cash balance.
Between the loans and the cash, so.
Oh, okay, because it didn't, I read it as cash balance. But just
Cash balance of water is.
Yeah, but it's loans and cash.
We might want to make that clear because.
Somebody reads that, they're going to think, man, you guys really have money. And I know I got one friend that reads the minutes in the paper.
Yeah,
he's going to be asking.
Someone will say, that's a lot of money to have in cash.
We'll just approve the minutes with that correction.
Yeah, okay. I would make that motion.
Okay, approved and gone. Claims?
Just a question. It's just I'm sure they have a real good reason to do stuff. Is Scott Peterson Motors working on our air valves on the pipes, or?
No, those are pickup breakdowns.
Pickup breakdowns.
Our
Repairs,
yes.
Oh, they.
Our regular driving vehicles we had.
Oh, I see. Okay, because I was thinking pipe valves on. You know, like the air relief valves on your pipes.
It's
I was going, boy, really?
Water denotes this water department, and then behind it, motor assembly, air vent.
Okay.
So we had some heating and air conditioning failures in one of the pickups.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Things that our crew can't do.
Well, it's those newer pickups are all controlled computer-wise, so the when you switch from defroster to vent, it's computerized, and some of the parts we buy right from Scott Peterson because that's the only place we can get them.
Okay.
So our guys did do the work on it with probably parts and some diagnostics.
Okay.
I don't have any other questions on the claim.
Me either. Motion to approve.
Second.
All good. Go. Finance officer's report. There, you have anything?
I don't, but I will next time. I will have the quarterly report for you.
Okay. Customer concerns. Everybody's happy. Water bills will go down now with the snow and the rain. They want water lawns.
Right. We haven't had any customer concerns. We're on the city standpoint, we're getting ready to start turning on our seasonal accounts. We have had requests from baseball, softball, the school for the track. It's that time of year where activities are starting. So we try and hold off as long as we can because a lot of the pipes will still freeze. But we're there the 1st of May usually.
Okay. Water superintendent report.
If you would look behind you, we've got
Todd, make sure you speak into the microphone, Todd.
So we put this together. I have a lot of the info. The gals here at City Hall have a lot of info, and Brittany and Rick helped me out a bunch on this. So it's a team effort on this deal. This is a cover page when the state sends out their water report to each water system. I did do some corrections on it. The customers count, that varies from month to month, day to day. In essence, they had a different average per gallons. When I called them, they couldn't tell me how they come up with it, but as you'll see later on, I track that fairly close, so I'm very confident in my average daily. This is what we have sampled for per the state beyond our regular bacteria sampling. I'll see if I can, there it is. Nope, it won't show up on the screen. Okay, never mind. The copper we sampled for last year, we're very good. Our lead is very good. They do ideally want us at 0. I don't know how you achieve that. That is part of my concern on the new lead and copper rule coming, if they're trying to force a 0.
It's a real small number, that's for sure.
For sure, yes.
How many marbles in a swimming pool is that?
Yeah, parts per billion, exactly. We were at our highest on lead was 3 parts per billion, and the allowable limit is 15. That's 20% of the maximum, and that was one account. That no way to assess that beyond that. So there's going to be an ongoing struggle with that. When you get down to the barium and the fluoride, they I'm not even sure why they threw the barium in there. It was the only detect in our radionuclide sampling, so I'm assuming that means they wanted to put it in there. That is extremely low as well. The fluoride, we fluctuate. There's natural fluoride in the water, but it's not enough to make them happy, so we have to buy fluoride and add. You can easily hit something funny where we get a little higher amount of fluoride. That is not a high amount. This is a spreadsheet that has all of our wells on it, our monthly total pumped, our daily average per month, and it also has then our metered water for build. You'll see a leaks column there. That is a very rough estimate, and I prefer to guess low, because if we're doing a water loss, we want to know how much we lost, and me guessing isn't telling us what we actually lost. But I'd like to account for some of the water. With skate, I can get fairly close. I just do not know how long the leak had been there always. You can see the bulk and hydrant column. In getting geared up for this, I did miss some data last year. I'm no excuses. And we didn't flush sometimes. There's trying to see. You can see on the far right in yellow of the main columns, there's our water loss per month. Okay, so the actual number there is how much water we accounted for, which is when you take how much we pumped from our well meters and divide that into how much we billed off of reading the meters. You follow that down, our annual average last year, we accounted for 86% of our water, which leaves a water loss of 14%. That's not bad. I'd like to get it lower. We're working on some things. There's just it. When you look at the big picture of it, on the unmetered side, you can see where we've got 3-4 million gallons in a month. You do the math, you're looking at 120 gallons a minute with all the miles of pipe we have and miles of service line. Pinholes that leak a quarter gallon an hour, a minute, all add up. So it's a pretty minute amount. You can see how much water the city government use was. I believe it's 16 million gallons, some odd. This kind of is a nice sheet to break things down. Any questions on that?
Where is well number 1?
Well, number 1 is by it's just across the railroad tracks, across the interstate on Vanacker.
The old city shop.
Yeah, the old water shop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and you just pump that once a year just to make sure it pumps?
No. It's you wait till next year. It's been down, and we finally got it up and running, and we have been running it and resting well 7 this year. So last year we're trying to get things organized and run what needs to run when we can run it, figuring that out. Now we're trying to slip into regular mode. So any other questions on that?
Where we could have this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll look different than that because I had to cut pieces to make it fit so we could actually read it.
Gotcha.
I'll convert this PowerPoint will be available on the website, and I'll send it. Okay.
That'd be good.
Okay. This is another portion of the same, of that data sheet. These are the things I cut and expanded. So here's a pie chart of the well usage. And it's a pretty big eye opener when you look at, man, well 7 was the workhorse. Well 1 doesn't pump the same gallons per minute, but it's a very good well. And it was at 0 because we were doing repairs and whatnot to it. So my goal is to average well 1 and well 7 out, kind of split the difference at about 30% each, and then the other lesser wells fill in the gaps.
1, 3, and 7 are our workhorses.
Yeah. Yep. And then on the right is
1,
just
3, and 7.
on the right of that is just a bar graph of our water loss, and it just another visual to see, how much we pump in the summer versus the winter, and what our billing is versus how much we produce.
But the loss for each month is about the same, close to the same.
Yes.
So it's not like you have, any certain months where you're losing a lot of water. Even when you're pumping more water, you still have about the same loss. So.
Yes,
And that's good.
that is very good. I like that as well. It's
Some of that could be also in old meters if water is passing by the meter and it's not reading correctly.
Yeah, they don't.
I mean, there's a lot of
The older
things.
they get, the less they record.
yeah. And there will be a report coming on that. As we've replaced meters, we've been testing them, and it's amazing how many of them are reading 0% at low flow.
Mm-hmm.
So
The customers, the older they are, the more they give you. That's not true.
no, it is not. Okay. How come I can't? Oh, there. And that's just showing the percent loss.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I like your money machine.
Yeah.
Have you invented that?
Hey, I wish.
Daniel keeps it locked up in his office.
Yeah.
Let us play with it.
Yeah. So I'm pretty self-explanatory. It's just a breakdown of revenue. Any questions on that? I feel like I'm going to get in trouble for changing the channel too soon.
What makes up the miscellaneous money stuff?
I would have to refer that to Faye.
That's a good question. Yeah, probably miscellaneous would be the revenue side of it, so. Late fees? Oh, late fees, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
Late
Yeah,
fees and
probably
stuff like
late
that?
fees.
Yeah, okay.
I couldn't remember.
Late fees.
Have our bulk in there too.
Like
fees.
Bulk,
It's not in sales.
yeah, you
It's in
might,
the miscellaneous.
The surcharge generates quite a
it
bit of
has
money,
its
don't
own
it?
line item,
Sure
but it
does.
might get
Yep,
thrown
yep.
into,
I think
miscellaneous.
the
don't
sales
like
is
that.
strictly off
A little
the
bit
billing.
tacked on, amount too much, but make it
And then
there.
you're
That's
just
a pretty
picking
good
up
chunk
the
of
other,
dough.
the surcharges are for paying off certain things that were obligated to various areas of the system.
Right. So we had, Lizelle Murray
That's what
edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. And this is just a picture of the water rates for this year. Or last year, yeah, geez. It's and it's cut down to just water. There's a lot more on the sheet, but this the most pertinent for us. Okay. And this is it's the water breaks from when I started till January 9th of this year. And it's kind of small, trying to get them all on the Google Maps. And make it so you can see them. I had to shrink it, but the locations of them is kind of,
They're all over.
yes. But if you were to look at the city as a whole, they are a little more concentrated. If you pulled that out and covered the whole town, you would see that, yes, they are kind of focused.
Around the interstate. No, around,
They're in our old section.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
yeah.
so they look spread out on this, but you get on a big map, they're still spread out. So we've got some different things there. These are just the improvements we've done. That's a short list. The north tank went well, as I'd reported earlier. Trailhead nearly has all 23 of their houses installed. Garden Grove down there are 7 foundations or 7 water lines, service lines installed. We are hoping to get the majority of those pressure tested next week. Hidden Hills is up on Avalanche, off Avalanche. There is at least 1 foundation poured. I believe there could be 2 and a third is coming soon. Obviously when I wrote this, it was a while back. The line is now all the way connected. We're just waiting on the booster station to push water up there at this point.
Last month, you said it was going to be installed yesterday.
Yeah.
You did say last
yeah,
month.
The dates
25th.
dates keep
Fifth.
shifting.
They-
I mean, we're waiting on some pumps availability and.
Yeah, well, I understand.
The skid is there. From my understanding, they're waiting on some other materials again.
Okay.
So yeah, you had me befuddled for a moment there,
Oh,
Mike.
you said last month you said it was going to be done the 25th of this month.
Yeah.
They're waiting on 1 pump and 1 VFD. Other than that, the entire skid is done.
Okay.
And that's that.
Good.
That's all I got. Any other questions?
Nice report, thank you.
Thank you.
Like I said, we'll get that. We'll be on the website, and I'll send that out to you guys as well, so you have
thanks.
it.
Right. Compliments on the snow removal. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you to the water department too. We really, of course, we had to come in on Sunday and do that, and we did it as a team collectively. And right now in Public Works, we are shorthanded. We've got about 5 positions open, so all across the board we're short, and so it was a collective effort with water as well as parks, streets, wastewater. So
And it was probably pretty tough, too.
worked very, very well. And again, I think that goes to prove the point and show that's what we were after when we consolidated Public Works, was to be able to do that and get it done. So it worked well.
Okay. Public Works report?
So I don't have a whole lot to report. Like we were talking about the booster station skid continually. We see delays, and that's not unlike any other projects that we currently have going on. It's just a delay. Anything that has anything to do with electronics right now seems like there's a fairly long lead time, and we continue to get ship dates, and they continue to get pushed back and get pushed back. Like I said, we are waiting on 1 pump and 1 VFD. Other than that, the skid is complete. It's sitting in Mitchell, ready to be put on a truck and shipped out here, and basically they'll crane it off, set it down, bolt it, and it should start up. So we're fairly confident that next meeting we'll be able to report that the project is finished. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that. One good bit of news: we did receive a large supply of meters that we weren't necessarily expecting. Some that we ordered late last year finally did show up all at once. So we're sitting pretty good on meters right now. You'll see that next month too in the claims. We're going to have a fairly substantial claim I think, Todd, we're 3 or 4 orders in, and we've been ordering more and more meters to keep up with demand, and finally a bunch of them did show up, so we're going to be paying for them all at one time. Just forewarn you on that. Other things, I just got back from Pier last week. We had a good conversation with the DANR. All of the ARPA money, if you remember, we put in application for both clean water and a sewer project for the use of ARPA funds. We'll be looking at going in front of the Board of Natural Resources, Water and Natural Resources at their July meeting. They had just a little over $600 million through ARPA funds. I think to date, they said they had issued out about $460 million of that 600. That's in addition to their normal SRF funds, and there's a bipartisan bill, infrastructure bill coming now. So I guess what I'm getting at is there's a tremendous amount of money available. We're still looking at putting in for some water upgrades to receive that. Maybe one of the downsides, if there is to that, we have the ability to receive up to 30% grant money. So far to date, they haven't been issuing it out at that level. It's been fairly reduced, anywhere from 5% to 15%. But I think the reasoning behind that was because there's a lot of big dollar projects that are tens of 20 or hundreds of millions of dollars. So even at a 10% grant, that's a lot of money versus a 30%. So we never really know till we go before the board and what projects are there. Ours is in queue waiting, and like I said, we'll be going in July, and hopefully we'll end up with some good news there. There are some other grant monies that just came available that we're looking at. Like I said, the bipartisan bill is strictly for infrastructure for water. The 1033 bill has not been, it's been approved, but it hasn't been decided how that money will funnel through the system, if it'll go to Danner or if it's going to go through the State Department of Economic Development, or we're still kind of waiting on that. So we have the possibility, as we reported at the last board meeting when Ted was here and gave the presentation on our wells in the lake, things of that nature. That was one of the pools of money that we're looking at to help make some water improvements there as well. So we're tracking that as well. But things are, like I said, looking pretty good. What else? We doesn't have anything to do with necessarily with water, but we have some improvements being made on Nolan Creek, Ferguson, and Hurley. That bid opening we had last week or the week before, last Tuesday. We only received one bid, which is a little concerning, and I think we're going to continue to see that trend. Just because with all that money out there and all these projects, there's not enough contractors to do the work, and they're being very choosy on what projects they bid on. That project we did see, it was a little bit over our engineer's estimate. Not terrible, but again, that trend is not favorable. Generally, we like to see bids coming in under the estimate. Those estimates are fairly conservative for that reason. We did get a preliminary estimate, and I hope I'll have more at the next meeting for you to share on our East Sherman and East Main Street jobs that we're working on. That number came in fairly significant as well. Higher than we had anticipated for both on the sewer and water end, and it's just due to price increases and the oil barrels of oil right now are crazy. I was talking to the paving contractors last week, and they pretty much said that if it wasn't a planned project already, you're probably not getting it done because they don't have the ability to order more oil from their suppliers. It's just going to get tough. So the next year will be interesting to see how that all works out. We're still moving forward on some of our other developments, continually having meetings with developers, both of the property north of Avalanche Road, the developers down on Garden Grove, and we'll be probably in the next 30 days or so, we'll see something on the Richards property. So that's kind of a synopsis of what's going on. And if you guys got any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Are we going forth with well number 8 over there then, or are we going to start doing that?
We haven't done anything formal on it, and that's some of the applications that we're putting in for grant money. We listed a new well in our application to Danner, to the SRF. That's a part of that component. So,
and if that comes through, then we'll definitely march forward with that.
Right.
Okay.
Was that Sherman and Maine, was that next summer or this summer project?
That'll be next summer. It'll be engineered, and our hopes are to let that out to bid late this fall, and then they would be able to start construction in the spring. And it'll be a multi-year phased.
Thinking you told me.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you. Public hearings? Nobody's here. Old business? I don't think there was anything on that agenda, is there? New business.
I don't recommend any.
Okay.
Neil, do you have anything? Nope.
Other matters that may come before the board. Have any questions? Anything to ask these guys?
I'm going to just jump in here. I should have said it when you guys called me up here. We went through the audit last week, and I just wanted to let you know, actually water was one of them that they must have looked at the paperwork, which a lot of Todd's worksheets, they look at that. And, of course, I provide them with the financial side of it, too. And they really did not come and bug me about anything. So everything really looked good, and we gave them the paperwork they wanted, and they must have really, the analytics must have been very good because they never questioned me anything on water.
Good. Congratulations. You're doing good work then, right?
We all are.
Actually, Todd, last month I noticed a lot of chlorine taste a couple times. Was there a different well being used, or?
We fired up one, that's about.
Would that account for that possibly?
No, shouldn't. Do you have a water filter in your house?
No.
Water softener?
No?
You drink it straight from the tap, or does it go through your refrigerator?
Tap.
Sample in the area. I don't get very many complaints, so I'd like to be on.
It'd have to be a really hard, big surge in order for you to taste them.
And I'm not sure, or the direction, usually if you can taste it, we probably don't have enough, is what they teach you. I don't always agree with that, but I would like to sample. You got a spigot, is your outdoor spigots on? If you don't mind, we'll swing up in the next few days and try to see if we're high or low there. Yeah.
Good. Thanks.
Good. Executive session's not needed. Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, next month's meeting is 27th, I think, or whatever.
I don't have my phone, it's out there, so.
And I'm most likely going to be out of town, but he said I can do it on the phone.
Okay.
So,
24th?
or just get right online and watch it, I guess.
May 24th.
What's this, huh?
May 24th.
24th, is that what it is? Okay. Yep.
Is that the Tuesday?
The 4th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 24 and then 26. Yeah. Yep. Got to go to Minnesota and watch my grandson run track. So.
Oh, that might be fun.
Nice.
Yep. Okay, that's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Turn it off, Rick, then we can talk.